There are a lot of lessons about learning that I don't think we really get in school, so I thought I'd make a video about it. Now, the first thing that I think is important to remember is that you are working for yourself. You're not working for your parents, you're not working for your coach, you're not working for your teacher. The things that you learn are yours. And it's very, very hard for someone else to take them away from you. You're going to run across bad teachers and bad textbooks and bad mentors and bad bosses all throughout your life. And you can either complain about them, which I do a lot, or you can try to take what you can from them and move on with your lives. And I think the latter course is the best course. The second thing to remember is that consistency is important. Learning anything deeply is about the accumulation of effort over time. There are ways of making learning more effective, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but there's no way of kind of leapfrogging over the effort that you actually have to put into something. The third thing to remember about learning is that mistakes and confusion are good signs, so long as we're focused on improvement. Culturally, we have this hang-up when it comes to mistakes. We want to please our parents or our teachers or whoever, and we see mistakes as being fundamentally bad things. But this framing really comes up because we don't distinguish between practicing or studying and actually performing. When you're performing surgery, you don't want to make mistakes. But when you're practicing surgery, that's a great time to make mistakes because you can make mistakes and then you can correct them before you are actually performing surgery. I'm not saying that you should go and run out and purposefully sabotage yourself, but being afraid to make mistakes or look stupid is just no way to go about learning something because it causes you to behave in ways that impair your learning in the long run. The fourth thing that I think is important to remember is that study methods matter. There are just some study approaches that are more effective than others, and the benefits of effective study methods just accumulate over time, year after year after year. Now, I'm not going to go into detail in this video because I have a whole channel that goes into these details, but you should be spacing out your learning. You should be self-testing very often. You should be asking yourself questions about the material, about what's confusing or surprising to you. You should be explaining things either to yourself or to others. You really want to be focused on certain key components of the skill, and you want to be thinking about how you can get more of those practice, reflection, feedback cycles in. We're talking about focused, consistent practice in the long run using effective study methods. So the fifth thing that I think is important to remember about learning is what I like to call the pretty principle. Pretty much anyone can get pretty good at pretty much anything. Let me explain what I mean, because there are two frameworks that I think a lot of people operate in. One is to focus on who we are as people. You know, what kind of learner am I? Am I an arts person? Am I a math person? And the result is that people go through their lives and their learning experiences thinking, well, I'm just not a math person, or I'm just not an arts person, or I'm not going to get that lecture because, you know, I'm a visual learner. This is fundamentally inconsistent with what we know about learning. Humans are adaptive machines. That's kind of our superpower. So even if you don't know much about math now, you can learn a lot about math in the future. On the opposite side of the spectrum is the idea that if you believe it, you can achieve it. Now, and this is not what I am saying either. First of all, it takes a lot more than just believing in something to achieve something. You know, it takes a lot of hard work, a lot of discipline, building good habits, using good studying techniques, like I mentioned before. Second of all, it's not the case that if you just do all these things, if you work hard using effective learning techniques, that you will be able to play cello better than Yo-Yo Ma or play chess better than Magnus Carlsen. That's just not how it works. There's a lot of factors that go into whether someone reaches that super high level. There's developmental factors, there's genetic factors, there's luck, there's probably some other stuff that we don't necessarily understand that well. But you can become a pretty good chess player. You can become a pretty good cello player if you put in the work and use effective learning techniques. If you want to learn more effectively, there is one factor that a lot of people forget about, and there is just a boatload of fascinating research on. So you can watch that video here, and I hope to see you there. Take care.